All right, so you're staring down the barrel of the ACCA Advanced Audit and Assurance exam. It's a beast, right? One of the final, toughest mountains to climb. But what if I told you there's a blueprint, a detailed map that can guide you through it all? Well, that's exactly what we're going to do today. We're going to break down the official study text and find the absolute smartest path to success. So how do you conquer one of the toughest professional exams out there? Look, this isn't just about passing a test. We all know that. This is about proving you're ready for the big leagues, for the professional world. The stakes are, well, they're incredibly high. So how do you tackle a challenge this massive? The secret isn't just about studying harder. Nope. It's about studying smarter. And that means having the right tools for the job. Okay, so here's our game plan for today. First up, we're going to get to know the exam, the challenge, the AA challenge itself. Then we'll dive into the philosophy behind your study guide, what makes it tick. After that, we'll decode the toolkit inside it. We'll map out the entire syllabus. And finally, we'll connect the dots from being a student to becoming a full-fledged professional. Let's get into it. All right, Section 1, the AAA exam challenge. Let's talk about this final hurdle. So what's the real purpose of this exam anyway? Let me tell you what it's not about. It's not about memorizing a bunch of facts and spitting them back out. No way. Think of it more like a flight simulator, but for auditors. It's designed to test your professional judgment, your real-world skills, when the pressure is really on. I love this image because it's perfect. The exam basically forces you to take what I call a hot air balloon view. You literally have to rise above all the nitty-gritty, tiny details on the ground and see the entire landscape of modern assurance. It's a total perspective shift. It's not just about finding a calculation error here or there. It's about understanding these big, complex, real-world challenges from way up high. And if you want to know what this exam is really about, it boils down to these 3 words right here. Analyze, evaluate, and conclude. Seriously, this tells you everything you need to know. You're not going to get a question that just asks you to define a term. That's not what this is. Instead, you'll get a messy, complex scenario, and you'll be expected to dissect it, weigh all the evidence, and then, this is the crucial part, form a professional judgment that you can actually defend. Okay, so that's the challenge. The big question is, how on earth does the study text prepare you for that? Well, it's really important to understand that this thing you're holding, it's not just a textbook, it's so much more. It's a carefully designed system, and it's built on a very specific philosophy for success. The first principle, it's all about being exam-focused. And I mean ruthlessly focused. Every single page, every example, every little detail is targeted at one thing, the exam. The authors, who have years and years of teaching experience, have basically stripped out all the nice-to-know fluff. They've concentrated only on the absolute need-to-know stuff for you to pass. Let's be honest, your study time is precious, right? This guide totally gets that and respects it. Next up, it's student-friendly. And thank goodness for that, because let's face it, some of these topics are incredibly dense. They can be a real headache. So the guide's core mission is to take all that complexity and just break it down, turn it into manageable pieces using language that actually makes sense and formats that don't put you to sleep. It's designed to keep you engaged. And get this, who's actually writing this stuff? It's written by the very tutors who are in the trenches, teaching this paper day in and day out. These are the people who have seen everything. They know exactly where students get stuck, they know all the common mistakes, and they've basically downloaded all of that practical wisdom and embedded it directly into the pages. It's literally like having an expert tutor sitting right there with you. Plus, the learning doesn't just stop when you turn the last page. Oh no. The book is really just the core of a whole digital ecosystem. On My Kaplan, you get access to all sorts of great stuff. Online tests, progress assessments, a bunch of other resources, all designed to lock in what you've learned and keep you on track. And, when you look at all of that, it all boils down to this one simple idea, this mission. Every single feature we've just talked about, it's all there for one reason and one reason only, to make a real tangible difference in your success. Okay, so that's the why. Now let's get into the how. Let's get practical. How do you actually use this thing to its full potential? Well, the book has this awesome built-in navigation system, like a GPS for your studies, and we're going to decode it right now. First up, you've got the key point icon. When you see this little key, you need to pay attention. It's basically a signal flare from the authors. They're shouting, hey, This concept right here is non-negotiable. It's absolutely vital for success, and you're very, very likely to see it on the exam. So yeah, that's your cue to stop, drop, and really dig in. Then you've got this one, the tricky topic warning sign. This is your heads up. It's pointing out the banana peels on the floor, the areas where students year after year get tripped up. When you see this sign, my advice is to hit the brakes, hard. Take some extra time, work through every single example, and just don't move on until you are 100% confident you've got it. And this one, this is my personal favorite, the footsteps icon. Honestly, you should think of this as a direct message from your tutor. It's like they're leaning over your shoulder and giving you a helpful tip, a little nugget of wisdom from their own experience about what really helps students click with the material. Gold dust, right there. So, what's the best way to tackle each chapter? There's a proven 5-step cycle, and you should follow it every time. Here it is. Step 1. Start high level, look at the main syllabus objectives. Step 2. Zoom in on the chapter's specific goals. Step 3. Get your hands dirty with the actual content and the worked illustrations. Step 4. This is crucial. Actively test yourself with the test your understanding questions. And finally, step 5. Lock it all in by reviewing those summary diagrams. It's this powerful loop, right? Learn it, apply it, reinforce it. Repeat. Okay, we've been looking at the micro level, the icons, the chapter structure. Now let's pull the camera way back. Let's zoom out and look at the entire syllabus, the whole shebang. What's the intellectual journey this guide is actually going to take you on? So all 24 chapters are neatly grouped into these 4 logical blocks. Think of it like building a house. You start with the foundations. That's your ethical and regulatory bedrock. Solid ground. From there, you build the main structure, the audit process. Once you've got that mastered, you get to add the cool stuff, the specialist engagements, like forensic and sustainability audits. And then finally, you do the finishing touches, sharpening your core skills, and, of course, revision. See? It's a totally progressive journey, from the absolute fundamentals all the way to real expertise. All right, for our final section, let's do something really important. Let's connect all of this exam prep to the real world. Because honestly, the goal here isn't just to pass a test. It's so much bigger than that. The goal is to become a professional. And this is a point I really want you to remember. None of this is just abstract theory for an exam hall. It's not. Everything you're learning, every single concept, is designed to meet the minimum standard of work that's going to be expected of you as a qualified professional from day one on the job. In fact, check this out. The syllabus maps directly onto ACCA's official performance objectives. So when you're studying how to plan an audit or how to collect evidence or how to report on your findings, you're not just memorizing steps for a test. You're actively, right now, building the exact practical skills, the competencies, that your future employer is going to expect you to have. It's that direct a link. And this, right here, requires a fundamental mindset shift. It's a choice, really. You can study for the short term, just cramming information in to pass the exam, or you can study for long-term competence, building a rock-solid foundation for your entire career. See the difference? The goal isn't just to be someone who can answer exam questions. The goal is to become someone who can solve real problems. You know, even the study text itself brings up a hard truth about learning. It references something called the Ebbinghaus forgetting curve. It's this well-known scientific principle that our brains are literally wired to forget information unless we constantly refresh it. It just fades away. And knowing that's how our brains work, leads us to one final, really critical question. Look, you're going to put a massive amount of effort into learning this material and passing this exam. We know that. But the real challenge, and honestly, the real opportunity, is figuring out how to turn that short-term knowledge into long-term professional wisdom. So as you go through your studies, I want you to keep this one question in the back of your mind. How are you going to make all this hard work last for your entire career?